Today's topic. Oh, this is a good one, ladies and saints. This is a classic. You may recall that many years ago, I originated the term sign language. Well, what does sign language stand for? Well, I'll remind you. Sign language. Shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right. This is a communication strategy that is utilized by the human female wherever you find her. Some might say that it's the woman in the West. Some might say that it's the modern woman. No, sirree, Bobby. It is all women. As long as they are female and they have a pulse, they will revert to this at different levels, of course. And we're going to get into it. I'm breaking it down today. And I thank those of you who will send in your comments, questions early so we can get rocking. Also, as you guys know, that I taught this sign language concept to the late Kevin Samuels. And for that reason, we'll look at his rendition of it. I do have a clip here that we can take a look at and hear his perspective, and also perhaps take some edits to the game. As you guys know, I often bring a red marker to the game. You dig? We dealing with thousands of years of GAME right here, the wisdom of the ages. So the reason I wanted to engage this concept of sign language is because I've recently experienced a great deal of it. What will often perplex men, especially good men, is the deceit of the human female, the manipulative tactics. You see, you might say, Marquett, I have a good woman. I have a good woman. She doesn't do this. Ooh, that's dangerous, my dear boy. You might have a good woman, but you also have a blind spot, and she does do this. That just means that you are not aware of it and you are missing it, which would suggest that you are, in fact, being victim of manipulation. Yes, indeed. You're being victim of manipulation, my dear boy. Shame, insults, guilt need to be right. Now, there are different levels at which they exercise these argumentative tools, and their choice of strategy and the level and means at which they exercise it gives some indication of their heart and their personality. And based on understanding their heart and personality, you can extrapolate how the relationship will go. Our greatest challenge with the human female is that they're all lying. They're all lying. But here's the kicker. You think they're just lying to you, my dear boy. They're lying to themselves as well. Ooh, that's the part that hurts. So what you're saying, Marquett, is that if they wanted to tell me the truth, they couldn't even do it? That's right. Many of them don't even know what the truth is. Yes, it's dirty. It's wicked, huh? They don't know what the truth is, the truth of themselves. Why? Because they'd like very much to think very well of themselves. They'd like to believe that they're not argumentative. They'd like to believe that they're not a complainer. They'd like to believe that they're right more often than they're right. You ever met a woman who believes herself to be a slore? No, you haven't. You've only met a woman who thinks that she's dressed sexy. You've only met a woman that thinks that her clothes are cute. You've never met a woman who looks in the mirror and says, I look promiscuous. So what does that tell you? What that tells you is that they lie to themselves, they take a blind eye, and they always look favorable upon the self. It is a level of ego. And the human psyche, in fact, requires that ego for survival. But here's the kicker. Though between the male and the male requires ego, for we must do things that require bravery and sacrifice. The woman dedicates her ego to the self, pure narcissism. And there are levels to it, but never do you find a woman without it, which is why you are in no short supply of women who will challenge a man, women who will disrespect a man, women who will tell a man what's about to happen, what the plan is, as though she's the leader. Curious. You see women bossing men around. You see women standing up to men with their chests poked out. Like, who are you? In her mind, she's a legend. She's a legend in her own mind. And anytime you violate her self-view, then you will go on the chopping block to be victim of shame, insults, guilt, need to be right. And these four devils operate in different ways. Every woman has some deceit in her. Every woman has some devil in her. But how does it come out? Oh, it's so sneaky. And when it's not sneaky, when it's very in your face and straightforward, well, that's a clear sign you're dealing with a woman who is not the one. Those ones are not the challenge. The women who show up with the ultra long fingernails, the tattoos everywhere, the big wigs, high heels. Those are the blatant ones. We know that they're no good. The ones that are dangerous are the ones who show up talking all soft and sweet, like they're so shy and so innocent. The ones that when you're piping them down, they're like, oh my God, it's been so long. It's been so long. The ones who put on the full act. Those are the ones that should terrify you, because there may come a time when you start to believe the lie that they believe, which is that they're a good woman, that they're a good person. So many of them, they lie. When the mask slips off and you see what's under there, in all likelihood, you won't be able to forget it. It may startle you. It'll certainly disgust you. It'll repel you. And the irony, I find this to be very funny. When I peek under a woman's mask and they know that I've seen that which they really are, that which they hide from the world, then they try to go back to their act as though I didn't see what they really are. I'm like, hold on, hang on for a bit. I just saw you get out of character and cuss out so-and-so. I just saw you get out of character and behave in a very foul manner. And now you're back to this innocent, good girl. No, you can't do that, dear. I don't deal with part-timers. You got to live in it. You got to be it. The challenge is that so often we fall for their scam. Here's the scam. It's a long con. When they really want you, it's a long con, which means that when you first encounter them, they will behave well, trying to draw you in, make you sacrifice enough that when you find out who they really are, you can't walk away. That's the long scam, the long con, because they know who they are will come out. And something's wrong with them, most of them. That's why they're always talking about, I'm healing, I'm on my healing journey. Well, here's the kicker. They never heal. I'm going to say it again. Here's the kicker. They never heal. Yeah, that part. Anyways, let me acknowledge some of the folks who have shared their comments, questions right here. We're going to get into it. I got a lot of game to kick. I'm here for it. Let's work. May I acknowledge? Shout out to Mr. Jackson, who just became a member at thesassin.com. That's THESASN.com. Click join. Boss up. Shout out to Constantine supporting the work. The saying is very consistent. May I also acknowledge Brad came in via Venmo. Shout out to Johnny as well, came in on Venmo. Brad writes, you taught KS sign language. Absolutely. We see Brad missed some of the live sessions. Absolutely. 100%. May I also acknowledge Johnny sends intuition. Appreciate you. Saint DS comes in by PayPal. He writes, peace of the saints. These are revolutionary times. Therefore, I must ask revolutionary questions. In North Carolina, what do you perceive to be valuable living in Charlotte? Is there a more optimal state to move to instead? Thanks. You know what? I used to have an office on Bond Street in North Kakalaki. I didn't spend much time there, so I can't speak too much about it. I've not had any business affairs there, which I suppose if I've not, the reason I was there was for my tech business. And, sometimes if you get a grant, you might be required to establish a presence in a given municipality. So I can't say much about it. If I were you, I'd really think about my earnings. So do you earn there? And then I would think B, about your happiness? Are the people who care about you and the ones you care about and who can develop you, are they there? And if those two answers are yes, then maybe stay put. If those two answers are not a resounding yes, then there may be better things out for you. Thank you for asking. Shout out to Michael. He writes, I will follow you across all platforms. The ism saves lives. Peace of the saints. I appreciate you. And you know, we are in serious times and I will prevail. I promise you, we will prevail. You see, I see a lot of detractors and now they're having a field day. And I always find it to be comical because it's like they're not learning. I remember when I was in Las Vegas, I was leaving my office in downtown, going to my home in the suburbs, and then some filthy cops pulled me over and trumped up some stories and took me to jail the night before Christmas. And we knew that it was a scam, and all the YouTubers made up flashy headlines. Marquett Burton, the saint and the sinner. Pulled over, $100,000 cash, loaded gun. He's a criminal. He's a bad boy. And they trumped up all these lies. And then when I got off scot-free, got everything back, then they didn't cover the story. And I was hoping they'd get the body cam footage. They didn't get the body cam footage. They like to tell half truths and they think I'm down. So they go for the kick. They go for the stab in the back. But it only makes me stronger. You ever see one of those superhero movies? Maybe it's a superhero, maybe it's a super villain, but there are those certain mutants. When you hit them, they absorb your power. When you try to use your power against them, it's like they take it from you and they become it. It's kind of like that. Oh, by the way, for the members, we just dropped, I think, 2 uploads for you with more to come. There's another one that I don't think we've uploaded because I just finished editing it. I always like it to be really sharp. It's called Is She Using You? How to Protect Yourself. I don't think I've uploaded that one. I just re-edited it. And the reason we do that is so that when you're listening through, you can hear it uninterrupted, just pure ism. Pure ism. Anyways. Shout out to the real one supporting the work. May I also acknowledge Cam. He writes, my goal is to build a solid stable of 3 good women. 3 sounds kind of low for a stable. I'm just throw that out there. I'm not patient. I demand service and value early because I want them to recognize my worth fast. Fair enough. But I wonder, should I be adding value first or should it come from them? Peace of the saints. Well, here's the thing. You are the value. You are the embodiment of the value. You don't need to add value. You are value. You see, they have things backwards and upside down. The problem is a lot of guys think like a trick. And because they think like a trick from the position of a peasant or a peon, they're looking up at the female and they feel as though they need to make an offering when in actual fact, it's completely the opposite. But here's the kicker. Most guys are peasants and peons, and so let them grovel. Some of us observed a bad example. Me, I observed the example of pure peas. You did cold-blooded ones. So she needs to make an offering to a boss. That's what's appropriate. So in as much as that's the case, no, you need to break her off rip. And you don't need to offer anything. You dig? Except some bubble gum and some you know what. You dig? Real ones know. So here's the thing. Check this out. There's a young lady recently. She was asking for some attention, which is not a bad thing. And I said, hey, I'm going through something right now. I'll get back at you. And she badgers and pesters in a negative way, not in a supportive way, in a way that adds to my weight. Then I say, hey, I'm done with you. Be gone. You're banished. Because for her to badger under normal circumstances would be an annoyance. But the idea that the very moment I'm having challenge, this is when she piles on. You hear me? Like you're at the bottom of a dog pile. She piles on top of everything to make it heavier. And then what do? When you call them out, then all of a sudden deny, counter accusation, which is why we're talking about shame, insult, and guilt. Shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. So that right there let me know yeah, I got to set her aside. But here's the kicker. Why is it so important that when the man has problems, the woman knows how to react appropriately? Here's why. If the man is the leader and the woman is the follower, if the man is the guide and the protector and the provider, and the woman's the receiver of all those things, If the woman is under stress, under challenge, and then you make it worse, and let's say she falls apart completely, what happens to the relationship? What happens to the family? Well, she's just going to have a bad attitude. We'll get over it. She's not going to crash our family. She's not going to crash our finances. She's not going to fail to be able to rise to the occasion for her large amount of responsibility. We might have to order Uber Eats because she's not feeling right. That's the extent. We might have to call in a maid. That's the extent. But if the man is down and she's piling on top of what the world has already burdened him with, and then he crumbles under the pressure, what happens? She's not protected. He's not protected. The kids are not protected. No one's provided for. The future is dim. All is lost. He's offering a different kind of value that's very hard to replace. Today, if I needed someone to clean the house, if I don't have an old lady, I could call up a service to do that and get them hired the same day. If a woman needed a man replaced, I don't know, like a provider and a protector, how easy is that for her to get that same day? I say it's nearly impossible. And this is what happens when you deal with women who have no accurate perception of what a man actually is, and they've not observed the interactions between man and woman and seen a woman regularly kept in her place, kept in pocket, checked. So she doesn't know what a woman looks like when a woman's on good behavior. You dig? And she also doesn't understand that when a man sets you in your place, that's not punitive. That's just life, baby. That just is what it is. That is what it is. Shout out to Joseph supporting the work, writes Peace of the Saints tuition. Appreciate you, man. So acknowledge Carter. He writes question from the last live. You famously stated that, actually answered that one on the last live. Not sure where you went, but in short, his question is the decline of the United States. He identifies it as the Ford versus Dodge case, which established shareholder supremacy. Whereas I identify it as America going back on prohibition and allowing people to get slizzard and thereby create dangerous situations within families and on the roadways that ended murder. And my logic to him was that one of those things inevitably has negative consequences, whereas the shareholder supremacy situation is not necessarily evil. It does not necessarily lead to bad. Thank you for that question. 2 times, apparently. May I acknowledge Wayne? He sends in tuition via PayPal. Appreciate you. May I also acknowledge Calvin, writes Peace of Saints class in session. I'm taking notes. Professor Stephen A. Pimp. Yes, indeed. Logging in. I also acknowledge Heels In came in supporting the work. Shout out to Mr. Naeem. He writes Peace of the Saints. I had a question about sign language. What's the difference between shame and guilt? Shame and guilt. Shame may be her lashing you with the tongue in a way that makes you look bad and feel bad. It more has an overt roughness and abrasiveness and insulting nature. Shame. You should be ashamed of yourself, pointing out that you are doing something wrong, pointing out behaviors of yours, mostly you focused. Guilt, on the other hand, is a little less abrasive. She's getting at your emotions. It's a different type of manipulation. She's not going direct. She's making you feel low and bad about what you've made her feel like. You feel guilty about the position you put her in, about what you said to her, about how you reacted to her, about how you treated her. It's a little bit more her focused, more feelings focused, less abrasive, different manipulative strategy. Shame, guilt, insults, and the need to be right. One thing those 4 all have in common is that they're all strategies that are deceitful, dishonest. They don't get at the truth. They don't solve the problem. They just shift blame. And they keep her in the position where she feels she has the upper hand. It's a control tactic from the gender that specializes in the manipulation. They have to have their strength here because the strength of the body is not there. Thank you for that question. There's also some folks I wanted to acknowledge. Aha, here we are. May I acknowledge Mr. Hamilton, who became a member at thesassin.com. Shout out to the ones who really rock with me. I may also acknowledge Ethan, who just got the How to Create a Product-Based Business course. You can find that at school.com/Marquett. Click Classrooms. Oh, and by the way, we just put Boston University on school.com, which is really cool. People have been asking for that for a long time. We got it done. We got it done, ladies and saints. And there was also someone who updated their membership to an annual membership. I don't see their name here, but I do want you, whoever you were, to know that I saw that and I appreciate that. And thank you for the vote of confidence. Shout out to Charles, aka Thule, writes, "It's been a while. Tuition." I appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. Shout out to those men who stand up, make their name known. Shout out to those who pay what they owe. We outside today. You dig? Now let's hear a little bit from Kevin. I want to listen to a little bit of what he has to say, take a bit of a red marker to it. Also acknowledge the wisdom that he must have. I mean, you don't build a following that large without sharing some good game every now and then. I also have a lot of notes here that I haven't even cracked the surface on. So we're going to get to this work, ladies and saints. Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to it. And shout out to Chung. I appreciate you. Chung got the link right there for you guys who would like to invest in yourself. And I want to encourage you guys to do two things. Number one, of course, invest in yourself and whatever means that may be available to you, but also show up as much as you can for whatever you can. Marcos is having an event in Texas for the Saints, and he had invited me. And I'm going to be in Texas a week or two before that. I hate to have to turn around and fly right back out, but I'm very interested to go. So if Marcos, if you're listening, if Assassin Texas is listening, make sure you give me a couple reminders as it nears, because I want to make sure that I'm there. I also got to make sure my run game is together, because I think he said it's a 5 or 6 miles. So I want to make sure that I'm toward the front of the pack. Anyways, at this time, per usual, I'm going to cut the YouTube streams, both of the YouTube streams, and we're going to finish this out on Twitch. I got my notes here, and I also have my video right here of Mr. Samuels. And we're going to listen to a little bit of what he has to say, kick some real game, talking about these ladies, you dig? And we're going to go through these notes, and then we're going to send you off with some good education and inspiration. Oh, and by the way, if you guys didn't know, do make sure that you mark your calendars. As you unfortunately may know, I do get a good number of death threats, and I got a particularly high number recently as we have Burton Plantation about to premiere tomorrow. And so it's been relisted on a fan site. I'm trying to find which fan channel it is that you can watch it. I think it's called Marquett for Women. Let's see. Yes, indeed. There's a channel called Marquett for Women, and it will premiere tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I don't think it'll be clickable for you. However, you can certainly just look up the channel called Marquett for Women and make sure that you subscribe over there. It'll be great information for your lady, but you should also be aware of it, aware of the teachings that she's learning, because you're her leader. Just like when you're the CEO of a company, you might not be the janitor, but you should perhaps know the job of the janitor, not to liken a woman to a janitor. I think you get the point. But anyways, make sure you hit that so that you can watch that premiere tomorrow together. I'll be watching along with you. It'll be a great time. Anyways, let's go ahead and get these YouTube streams cut. I understand that some of you guys don't like to change platforms, and all respect due. Do what you do. For those who would like to continue hearing this free lecture, feel free to transition over to twitch.tv/Marquett Devon, which is listed at the bottom. And for everyone else, until next time. Okay, that seems quick and easy. I think I got that done pretty efficiently. Let's go ahead and get into this game right here, if you don't mind. And per usual, if you'd be kind enough to confirm with an Alpha 1 in the chat once the video starts playing that you can, in fact, hear it clearly and see both myself and the video clearly. Here we go.
Modern women believe they are so infallible today when it comes to relationship. They are hard pressed to even admit they're wrong.
So right there, he talks about women admitting they're wrong. I don't think that's a terribly masculine position, in as much as a man needn't be concerned with the argument. He needs to be concerned with the negotiation. He needn't be concerned with the words. He needs to be concerned with the action. So the idea that she needs to apologize, I need her to correct the behavior. I need her to understand what she did wrong, number one. And then number two, I need her to correct the behavior. And that's what's of greatest value. And that you cannot observe and understand in the moment. You actually are going to have to see her conduct over a different situation, a different conflict, and see if she actually decides to do the right thing. So that's an important thing to understand. Then boys asked no stream on marquettdevon.com today. Actually, yes and no. So we've been doing a lot of, technical stuff on Marquett Devon. So you'll be seeing that come back up. So yes and no, it is going, but it's actually behind the scenes because we're changing some UI features. Thank you for asking. I really do appreciate that.
That's why the need to be right is damn near pathological. So for a woman who thinks that she's really...
No, shout out to Kevin on that one. It is, in fact, pathological, which is to say that it is a deeply psychological thing that is beyond reason. It is entirely emotion and wiring. And the conditioning that some women have received, especially those who are a victim of being raised by a single mother or being raised with a father who is a weakling, there's no saving them at all. And there's no reasoning with them. And the challenge is, if you're a reasonable man, you might project and think that they can understand you, or they might see your point. Hell nah, they don't see your point at all. They only see they only see self. Like, you don't even exist, really. You as well as everything outside of them just exists to pour into them. And the moment they don't feel as though you are pouring into them, then you are of a lot less value. You are immediately losing your value at that moment in which you don't exist solely to pour into them. Shout out to Austin. He writes, question via IG DM. Forgive me for the length. I got you. I'll take a look.
Never wrong because she's feminine, because she's female and you're male, because we're stupid and they're smart, they're emotionally evolved, and because they don't know how their actions impact you.
Well, I don't think it's that they don't know it. It's that they don't care. They've not taken out any effort to figure that out because it's irrelevant. The only thing that is relevant is how they feel and how they perceive the world. So what we have to do is to stop even assuming that they don't know or don't understand. There's no effort to know. There's no effort to understand. There's no interest in knowing or understanding. Here's the thing. It's kind of like if you look at racists and you say, well, don't you know how those slaves feel? It's like, I haven't considered it because I'm a racist and I don't care about slaves. But now that I am considering how the slaves feel, I just don't care because I view them as slaves. And unfortunately, in this era, I'd say many women view men as little more than slaves, which is to say a source of extraction. They extract your labor, they extract your protection, they extract your money, they extract your emotion, and then give nearly nothing back, right? Maybe they might give you a little bit of loose cat, but that's about it. Anyways, the gentleman comes in via IGDM. He writes, peace of the saints. I need Book of Dark Truths advice. Uh-oh. I know you advise against dealing with low women. Indeed, I do. However, I'm dealing with a super thick thought. Those are the most challenging. Very challenging. I'm having flashbacks right now. Just the combination of words, super thick thought. I'm thinking of one particular young lady from Ohio. Pale girl, she used to use those spray tans, turbo thick. You bend her over, you could see that little crease where her skin is still super white. And apparently the spray tan or the tanning bed never used to get that part right under that cheek, super thick. She'd really bring it out of you. You know, she'd really, me, I'm not really trying to, take it down like a hitman every time, but she'd really make you do it. She'd make you do it. Anyways, he writes, a real 304. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. She says she loves me after 2 weeks. Oh, my Lord. Oh, it's going to be a long night. I already have the solution, but I'm going to continue reading the question. He writes, she says she loves me after 2 weeks, and I've been living AOB since. Praise God. Praise God. I don't think it's pure love. Of course it's not. She probably doesn't even know what pure love is. But shout out to her for, at least choosing bosses. He writes, but rather temporary dysfunctional love at the idea of someone caring about her beyond her body. She's willing to break me off, cook and serve me. Praise the Lord. Even gave me the keys to her apartment. Oh, she has an apartment. Very nice. She's doing well. We've had no problems yet. Do you think all of the love is delusional, or does she really rock with me? Both can be true. It doesn't have to be an or. Sometimes she really does rock with you. She's a loyal person by nature, and she thinks she loves you, and she really doesn't. Maybe she just is a being who needs someone or something to love. There are those women who get a dog or a cat. They need something to love on. There are some women who have a baby. They need something to love. But here's the kicker. Some of them have a baby because they need something to love them. Yes. It's really a sick, sad thing. I remember I was talking to my mother one time, and I said, well, why'd you have me? It seems like you didn't really, not into the mother thing. And she says, well, I wanted something to love me. And then that's when everything became so clear. I said, I understand now. Which is a very immature position, right? Because babies don't love you. Babies need love. But this is unfortunately not uncommon. What my mother said is very, very common. So it's a personality. So maybe she is really down for you, but may not quite love you. And part of that could be because she doesn't really have a healthy sense of what love is. But here's the kicker. What is love really, and what's the relevance of love? It has very little relevance. What you're really looking for is compatibility and the ability to get along. And that is going to come from shared values and her respecting the hierarchy. Things will always work out. So it sounds like you're in a good situation right now. But what I really like and admire is your skepticism. And you should be very skeptical. There's one part in the Big Game Conference. I do believe you were at the Big Game Conference, where I talk about, you said that she the key to her apartment. So there's a piece about, dwellings and apartments and things like that I talk about in the Big Game Conference and in the Book of Dark Truths. So I recommend you review those sections as they relate to this particular item. He writes, she even gave me keys to her apartment. We've had no problems yet. Beautiful thing. Do you think all of this love is delusional, or does she really rock with me? If it's purely fantasy, I don't want to wake her from the delusion of impure love for me, since I'm benefiting from the dream she's living in. How should I go about prolonging her delusion? It's all game. It's all game. That's it. Keep doing what you've been doing. And the key is, don't start giving any more, because you might upset the balance. You see, men, we tend to be fair creatures, which is to say, she's giving so much, you might want to give something back. But no, sirree, Bob, don't upset the balance. You see, because you might give her something back and you might give too much. Well, what defines too much? Well, too much means more than she expected, which will upset the delicate balance of, give and take, because it's at a place where she likes it. You see, because say you give more back, then she might be like, oh, wow, he's really into me. And that might be a turnoff. Huh? Oh, wow, he's really into me. And then she might be thinking, well, maybe I'm too good for him, that he's so into me. I'm probably too good for him. You see what I'm saying? So don't upset the balance. Keep her gamed up. Enhance her spiritually, but not financially. You dig? Carrying on. Thank you for that question. I appreciate that. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Got a thick rump shaker. Anyways, may I acknowledge Carter? He writes, Peace of Saints, my apologies for the double question. The last live went private before I could hear the answer. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, it's moving quickly out here. He writes, I was trailing about 10 minutes behind. Thank you for the wisdom. Oh, absolutely. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are members, every live stream I've ever done, you will have access to. If you don't see it, give us a holler. You may be aware that we're under attack pretty much on every social media platform. And YouTube has taken down the entire catalog. And so we're working feverishly to get everything back up for you, not on YouTube, on a place where it will last forever. Acknowledge Mr. Naeem. He writes, thank you for clearing that up. I wondered about that for a while. Definitely going to rewatch this stream on thesassin.com. Absolutely. And it'll be there for you. Shout out to Dominic. He writes, Peace of Saints tuition. That's a cold hat. And by the way, I never knew you originated sign language, but it makes sense. It's so clear to follow and remember like everything else. Oh, absolutely. And this hat right here, and thank you for this one. This is mdblabel.com. Shout out to Dominic. He produces this one. This is basically the uniform hat, and then he did it in velvet. You dig, just to make it a little bit more player. And I love to see black velvet because even in the sunlight, it looks good. Whereas other materials of black don't look good in sunlight. They look a bit faded. Shout out to the Diet Bender. He writes, Peace of the Saints tuition, releasing the itinerary for the second annual Sassin San Antonio River Walk Run tomorrow. Okay, very good. Dates are November 14th and through the 16th, 6-mile run. And Sassin workout is the Saturday morning of November 15th. We are looking forward to welcoming all the saints who can attend. Kenton, shout out to Kenton, shout out to Marco, shout out to all the saints. And as I say, you know, this is an in-person community. This is so much bigger than content. You get a membership to the Sassin. It's about being a part of something. So peace to the saints. That's a beautiful thing. I also acknowledge Mr. Naeem. He writes, also, can I just say, shout out to the big homie for knowing Kevin Samuels to hold out sign language for so many years. Definitely brought this channel some serious motion. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. Yes, indeed it does. Yes, indeed. Carrying on. Let's get back at it.
Bottom line, ladies, men's feelings today are invalid. You ladies are always talking about you want men who are emotionally available, in touch with their feelings, such and so
That's
forth.
crazy.
And these are the very men.
When they say they want a man who's emotionally available or in touch with his feelings, what they're really saying is they want a man who is available for their BS. He always has an ear to their begging. What they really mean is that they want a man who will engage all of their complaints and listen endlessly to the nonsense. They're really saying they want a man who speaks and thinks like a woman that will never argue back.
You treat like shit. The very men you back your truck over. A man shows a woman emotion. All he does is dries up her vagina and opens the door for her to run the French toast out of it. This is why men have learned that they can't be honest with women.
But hey, check this out. Let me take it one level deeper. So he's talking about creating a facade, which makes sense because he's an image consultant. So he deals in the image, the veneer. Me, I like to deal in the substance, which is to say the women don't like you to have a whole bunch of emotions. I think that's fair because I don't have a lot of emotions. And so that's how I operate on the basis of who I really am. And I would encourage you to toughen up a bit and not have so many emotions, because it turns out the world's not that complex. You know, like whatever bad things can happen to you. You know, the question is like, okay, let's get some sleep, let's get some rest, and let's work at it. Or let's go in a different direction. Maybe take a little bit of time to mourn whatever sad thing has happened, but then let's get back after it. You know, you don't need that many emotions to operate in the world.
Show emotion to a woman, cry in front of a woman. The only way you can cry for your mama.
But here's the thing though, bro. Why do you want to cry? What is it? I'm just thinking about all the women I've dealt with and the times I felt the need to cry, which I can't think of any. What is there to cry about? What is there to that's the thing, is that you have Kevin Samuels, who's partly giving meaningful perspective, but also he is assuaging the feelings of the weak male who wants to cry in front of the female, who has a whole bunch of emotions, just as many as the chick does, and is trying to compete with her for floor time to express the emotions. And I think therein lies the problem, is that he's appealing to effeminate males. And he's correct in his charge that these women are heartless. They are. But he's also overlooking the fact that these males are effeminate, and many of the women have legitimate claims against them.
Your kid, a close relative, or extreme possible.
Hold on, what Uncle Kev got in his cup right there? What is bro drinking? He drinking some of the brown? I don't know if that's a good example, my boy.
Pain. Women don't want to hear that shit from us, because guess what? You ain't supposed to complain about it anyway. I mean, she's in your life. She's giving you a little bit of used vagina. I mean, you should be okay.
Not the pre-owned.
What? Apologize to you?
Not the pre-owned.
How often do you hear this, gentlemen? Well, I'm the woman. I'm feminine. I'm emotional. You're
Yeah, no, that's true. They are emotional. That's a fact.
supposed to manage my emotions. You're masculine. Da da da. But how many women today are even acting like women? Sorry, ladies. If you're not a feminine.
Yeah, that's right. They use it when it's most convenient, to basically like a get out of jail free card. And I tell you what, if the woman is mostly doing what she's supposed to do, keeps a good house, cooks, cleans, she's feminine, makes good love to you, is a good companion, keeps you company, has some good conversation, decent jokes every now and then, I'll let her get off on that. I'm just a girl. Like, no, you are a girl. Cool. Yeah, I'll let you slide every now and then. You dig? But anyways, I want to talk a little bit about sign language, if you guys don't mind. And feel free as we go through sending your comments, questions, ties, and tuition, because we got church open today. Sign language, shame, insults. Let's dig into this insult part. You have some women who will insult you very directly and viciously. We know which ones these are. I don't even need to say it. Then there are those other ones that will be more subtle. They're just as dangerous, but it just doesn't feel as bad, or you might not realize that you're being insulted. Let me ask you a question. If a woman says that you're dumb, do you know you're insulted? Yeah, you know you're being insulted. But if a woman questions your honesty or integrity, doesn't call you a liar, but she says, I can't trust what you're going to do. I can't trust what you're going to say. She didn't name you a liar, but she questioned your integrity itself, your character, which I would forward is a very dangerous thing, because the whole basis of you as a man, a man of my word, is based on your character and your integrity. So she's telling you, I don't respect you, essentially. That's under the insult category. There's certain types of women, not going to name what type, but they'll insult you outright, and you'll feel disrespected, and you'll react typically quite quickly. Then you have the other ones that'll be more underhanded. They'll phrase their insults as questions. They'll phrase their insults as them expressing their feelings, but they're insults nonetheless. Then you have the G, which is guilt. And they want you to feel guilt, which means consider them at the expense of fill in the blank, at the expense of you, at the expense of anyone. Guilt is what they want you to feel when you're not making things about them. The guilt concept is feel sorry for me. Woe is me. Consider me. Oh, look at poor me. So anytime things are not about them, they try to push the guilt feeling onto you. Then the last one is need to be right. And I really want to unpack this one because it doesn't get unpacked enough. Need to be right. Now, there's right and there's wrong. When someone's wrong, maybe because they're inexperienced, they're immature, they're not knowledgeable, they're not intelligent, they're not the leader for those reasons. When someone's right, that's because they're knowledgeable, sophisticated, intelligent, rational. So her need to be right, the stronger that is, the more she's letting you know that she believes she's right, thereby you're wrong. And whoever's right is the one that probably should be the leader, right? Because they're the intelligent one, they're the capable one. So the more she goes against you, however subtle, take note of it. Oh, I always take note. Like if I'm talking to a young lady and I say, hey, don't touch that, or don't do this, or don't, and then she does it anyways, I might not say anything or I might not correct it, but it's tallying. I'm tallying it up. I'm absolutely tallying it up. The need to be right is her usurping your authority. And what's worse than her taking your authority is that simultaneously she is trying to establish authority over you. Hello. So the women who have the stronger need to be right are the same women who have the need to be leader. These are the ones that think they're the woman king. You hear me? This is the woman king you got here. Huh? Yes. And if you were to confront them directly about it, what would they do? Deny, deny, deny. And deny rhymes with lie. Hello. Yes, they're going to lie. And it's an important concept. What does this all add up to? Shame, insults, guilt, need to be right. It all adds up to lies. Because when these things enter into an interpersonal conflict, they're not there to get us closer to the truth or to resolve the conflict. Those strategies are there to move her up and to move you down. It's to feed her ego. It is to trick you. It is to gaslight you. It is to fool you. Huh? And they have oh so many strategies that they use to lie. If you ask a woman a question, if I ask you the question, I want you to answer it straight away. If I ask you once, I want an accurate answer the first time. If I ask you once, I don't want you responding with a joke. I'm also tallying that up. Why don't I ask you the question? You keep joking in response. Or I ask you a question. You ask me a question. Say you ask a young lady. I get a lot of DMs from women. Most of them are, complimentary, and then some of them are rude, impolite, and insulting. And even the rude, impolite, insulting ones, they're still coming because they're interested. So out of, say, 100 DMs I get from women, 95% are, hey, I'm interested in you. But maybe 20% are rude, insulting, because that's how these women engage. They're dysfunctional persons. And so I filter them first with the same question. Do you have any kids? And then what do half the time? Do you have any kids? Why'd you ask that? Well, I asked that because I want to know the answer. And I didn't ask that so that you could ask me if I have kids. I asked that to know if you have kids. So why are you being evasive? Well, no, don't answer that. That was rhetorical. I'm asking you, do you have any kids? It's the lies. They lie in so many ways. Sometimes they'll joke. Do you have any kids? Yeah, I got 10 baby daddies. Is that what you like to hear? Yeah, I got kids. I got 10 baby daddies. And they try to laugh it off so that you don't follow up to get the real answer, so that you assume that since she said she has 10 baby daddies, which is extreme, hyperbolic, that maybe she doesn't have any kids. They're using strategy. And some of them have lived deceitfully for so long, they don't even realize that they're doing it. Maybe they never did. For many of them, it's inherent, innate instinct. They have to be straightened up. It is clearly the absent, uninvolved father that has allowed them to be so misformed. Come on now. Now let's see what folks have to say. And thank you to those who support the work. I appreciate you. May I acknowledge Mr. Saraki writes tuition for the game. I appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. I think we are caught up there. Okay, fantastic. Now, when you encounter women who are constantly gaslighting, and women, the funny thing is women will accuse men of gaslighting, but we know no one gaslights as much as a female. Nobody, baby, nobody. Yeah, no one's going to gaslight as much as a female. Here's why. Men, some of you may be increasingly weak, but men are stronger generally, just across the board in all categories. So we're less sensitive. So we don't have to go out of our way to protect our ego, to protect our hearts, to protect our feelings. And because the woman does have to go out of her way to protect her very fragile sense of self, she will gaslight you, try to embarrass you, lie to you, lie on you, so that she can protect herself. Check this out. There was a post I put up some time ago, and the first words out of my mouth was, I don't date women who wear Jordan sneakers. There's maybe 3 million views on this video, which you would think, why such a silly video performs so well? Well, it's because we're dealing with silly people on the planet Earth. And it's all of the hair-hatted hooligans, the dim-witted, immature, lazy, unattractive females, single mothers, many of them. And the first thing they do when they get in the comments and they hear that I don't date single mothers, actually, I didn't say I don't date single mothers. I said I don't date women who wear Jordans, sneakers. First thing they do is say, you gay, you zesty, zest. Now, I don't know how your footwear choice relates to one's sexuality. It's actually quite strange. And in fact, I'd say that's the more heterosexual position. A Michael Jordan tennis shoe is a basketball tennis shoe. What kind of women play basketball? Usually the ones that are, you know what I mean? And then what kind of women want to wear like boys athletic shoes, kind of the ones that are a little more butch, right? So it's a very strange accusation. But the fact of the matter is that the moment they're taking out of the pool of women that are considered attractive, they rage at you, they gaslight you, they insult you, they shame you, they guilt you. And why is that? Because they cannot stand the idea of a man having standards and a man not wanting to plow their guts. A woman is such a sexual object that if a man does not want to plow her guts, she feels bad about herself and then takes out that self anger and puts it onto the guy in the form of insult, gaslighting, shame, guilt, accusations. Crazy, isn't it? It's amazing the things that women will resort to, and so quickly too, just so quickly. They hear that he don't like women that wear Jordans. Now here's a funny thing. If I heard a woman say she doesn't like men who wear black glasses or men who wear a Burton aviation hoodie from mdblabel.com or sasnbrand.com, sasnbrand.com, she doesn't like men who wear Burton aviation hoodies, I would just be like, okay, do you? Do you, shorty? Like, that's cool. That's straight. I'm good.